It is our April 30th, 2024 Spokane County Commissioner consent agenda meeting, our 2 o'clock meeting. Let the record reflect that we have all 5 commissioners are present today, and we have a birthday for Commissioner Waldrop, so happy birthday. We will go ahead and start with the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll go through the rest of it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and now I have neglected Commissioner French's birthday. That was last week on Sunday.
Sunday. Yeah.
There we go.
I spent a lifetime getting there.
Well, and we have a proclamation for you today. Sorry. Sorry. Just had to say it. Sorry. Just water. Okay, so there were no written comments that we received today, so we'll next start with our open public forum. So we do have, yes, I will call you up for our open public forum. Sorry about that. So no written comments were received for anything that was on today's agenda, but our open public forum is next, which is for any items that someone wants to speak to that is not on our agenda. I do have 3 people that have put in, so we will go through those 3 people, and we will start with Mary Benham. So as you come down, you have 3 minutes. It will start once you state your name and address for the record, and then we'll finish at the end of that 3 minutes.
Thank you. Mary Benham, 3616 North Dowdy Road, Spokane, 99224. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. We in the West Plains are not receiving the attention, respect, and consideration we deserve from a county commissioner. PFAS contamination is serious, and we are asking for serious dedication to remediation from our elected officials. Failure to cooperate with the Washington Department of Ecology is not in the best interest of the West Plains, the city, or the taxpayers. At the April 23rd West Plains Spokane Airport meeting, Commissioner French, number 1, and this might sound unusual, but point number 1, there was not a microphone either for himself or for the public. We could not hear all the questions and responses. There's no excuse for this. Ecology's meetings with us have been professional and with microphones. Point number 2, Commissioner French disparaged vital public employees with a somewhat offhand remark, "We don't want government in our backyards." Then he later talked about getting the feds to pay for PFAS cleanup without any specific references. Now, point number 3, Commissioner French did not answer my question regarding the airport's failure to apply for an ecology oversight remedial action grant. He diverted attention to Fairchild issues. He mistakenly claimed that the Spokane Airport needs FAA approval to address PFAS. This is not true. This is our question. We're beginning to wonder, does his seat on the Spokane Airport Board override his responsibility to county residents? We request, please, an answer to this important question. There appears to be a conflict of interest. Instead of answering questions about the airport PFAS remediation, Commissioner French presented a vague plan to pipe water from the Spokane River to, and this is a quote, "every household in the West Plains." He said this would be done, again, a quote, "in a year." He insulted our intelligence and wasted our time. Someone commented that since it's been documented that PFAS chemicals are moving toward the Spokane River, this plan would actually be bringing PFAS back up to the West Plains. Commissioner French did not
Mary,
have an answer.
thank you very much, but your 3 minutes is up.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. So next I have Tim Kinley. Tim, if you state your name and address
Yeah.
for the record,
Tim
thank you.
Kinley, Chair, Commissioners. Talking again about election integrity and election fraud. So we demand that you demand an audit from the state auditor of all aspects of our Spokane County voting processes. And we demand that you get rid of any vote tabulation machine. And we demand that there is a 3-hour evening Spokane County Commissioners meeting open to the public where we bring in our experts to explain and show how our election system is not private, it's not secure, or accurate. And we want that meeting within 3 weeks. And we demand that this week you meet with us to arrange this commissioners meeting. I've seen the system in so many ways, and there's no way we can know who wins. And just for your personal viewing and education on the system and the process, there's a documentary out, Let My People Go, and you can just Google it or whatever, it will show up, and it's free viewing. But it will give you a good, solid basis to why we have to get rid of these machines, why we need to go back to in-person paper ballots, precinct voting without machines, hand-counted. So please meet with me.
Thank you. So next we have Mike Ulrich.
Good afternoon, ladies, gentlemen. Mike Ulrich, 15521 North Hazard Road, 99208. I believe that Josh Kearns in District 3 is my representative. Is that right, Josh? And I'd like to get back to you a little later on a personal basis, so I'll call and make an appointment. My problem is with voter fraud also. And I'm 83 years old. I worked till I was 80. I had 120 employees. And if you don't nail down things really solid, people are going to push the limits, and that's what's happened to voting. Electronic voting machines are corruptible. They've had, everybody that watches the news has seen that. They are corruptible. The mail-in ballots are corruptible. There's a couple of remedies. When I was a young man, 15 to 20 years old, everybody knew who the President of the United States was by midnight. They did everything by hand. I'm not suggesting that we have to do that, but I'm suggesting that they have made so many rules that they've moved the margin so far that we're not as accurate as we should be. And that's going to be my pursuant to retirement, try and work for the betterment of the American voting establishment, and I'll be contacting you, Josh, to see how we do. Thank you.
Do you want to ask?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to respond to some of the comments that were made about a meeting that I held out at the Small Arms Range out at the West Plains. It was probably attended by probably 100 plus people to present to them a plan for bringing drinking water to the West Plains. A plan that's already been presented to the EPA, already been presented to the Department of Ecology and the Air Force, And we've got one more approval to get, and then we could start moving forward with this. But the reason why there were no microphones involved was because it was at the small arms range, and they don't have any microphones in the room and stuff. So for the next meeting, we will make sure that we've got portable microphones. We did not anticipate there would be that many people, and it would actually take up two rooms instead of just one. We'll have another meeting out there at the end of May, but this meeting that was held last week lasted 3 hours, and I responded to questions from a variety of different issues. SIA issues, we all know what the status is with regard to SIA, and that has nothing to do with my preferences one way or the other. It has everything to do with the legal questions that arise around SIA. The Air Force assured me last week that they have got funding ready to move forward with regard to drilling a well and being able to start piping. And so the question was asked, when would you like to see this done? And I said, I'd like to see it done next year. But, that there are a lot of other agencies I've got to work with. But the question was, what would I like to see? And that's what I responded with. So I just wanted to make sure that the record's clear about what did happen at that meeting. And we'll continue to engage with folks in the West Plains until we've got a solution. But I do want to point out that EPA's response, Region 10 Director, said this is the kind of creative, out-of-the-box thinking that we need to solve the PFAS problem in this country. And one of the legislative aides for Kathy McMorris Rogers, when Commissioner Kearns and I attended the DC trip, said this might make Spokane one of the first communities in the country to have a solution for PFAS. So I am working on this, and Commissioner Kearns was in that meeting, can also respond to what was said. So thank you.
Okay, so next on our agenda, we have the proclamations. We have 3 that are listed on the agenda. We will be delaying Proclamation 3C for National Nurses Week in Spokane County to next week. So we will start with our proclamation for celebrating Expo 74 50th year anniversary.
Madam Chair, I would like to read this proclamation in the form of a motion. Whereas the Expo 74 World Exhibition was held in Spokane, Washington from May 1st to October 31st in 1974, and whereas there were approximately 5 million admissions during the 6-month World Exposition, of which more than half came from outside the Pacific Northwest, and whereas more than 75 individual exhibitors were featured, including the United States and other world governments, Washington State and other state and municipal governments, domestic and international industries, corporations and organizations, and whereas Expo 74 regional economic impact totaled $125 million and included the creation of more than 4,000 new jobs. And whereas the year 2024 marks the 50th anniversary of this momentous event in Spokane County history. And whereas Spokane County is a signature sponsor of the 50th anniversary celebration, providing $500,000 to help fund activities and events. Now, therefore, we, the Board of Spokane County Commissioners of Spokane County, Washington, on behalf of our citizens, the business community, and tourism in Spokane County, do hereby designate May 4th to July 4th, 2024, as celebrating Expo 74 50-year anniversary, and urge all Spokane County residents and government agencies to participate in the activities and events associated with Expo 74 50th anniversary celebration, dated this 30th day of April 2024, signed the Board of County Commissioners.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Okay, and we have Kelly Brown here with us today. So Kelly, would you like to come up and say a few words, and then we will hand you the proclamation and come down and take a picture with you.
Thank you. I'm here today to represent hundreds of people who have put so much passion and love into this effort. I moved to Spokane 8 years ago, and there's certainly something different about Spokane. There's something in the air or in the river, if you will. And being in the center of all this, I can certainly speak to Expo 74 being a catalyst for that. And the spirit of Expo is very alive, and I'm happy to accept this on behalf of all of the volunteers and many people who have poured their hearts into this.
Thank you, and we'll just come down here and take a picture. Get back to my schedule. Okay, and next we have item 3B, which is to proclaim May 2024 Older Americans Month. And I believe Commissioner Jordan is going to be reading this as you sit on our Aging and Long-Term Care Board on behalf of the Spokane County Board of Commissioners.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Hear me?
Yes.
Okay, great. I'm happy to read this proclamation in the form of a motion. Whereas May is Older Americans Month, a time for us to recognize and honor Spokane County's older adults and their immense influence on every facet of American society. And whereas through their wealth of life experiences and wisdom, older adults guide younger generations and carry forward abundant cultural and historical knowledge. And whereas older Americans improve our communities through generational relationships, community service, civic engagement, and many other activities. And whereas communities benefit when people of all ages, abilities, and backgrounds have the opportunity to participate and live independently. And whereas Spokane County must ensure that older Americans have the resources and support needed to stay involved in their community, reflecting our commitment to inclusivity and connectedness. Now, therefore, we, the Board of County Commissioners of Spokane County, Washington, on behalf of the citizens of Spokane County, do hereby proclaim the month of May 2024 as Older Americans Month in Spokane County. We ask residents to also observe this year's theme, Powered by Connection, emphasizes the profound impact of actions and social actions, well, and health of older adults in Spokane County. One, should we say the day of April 4?
Second.
And the one that we do have that is signed is for April 30th, so just to make sure the correction there. So I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Oh, we lost it. I'm pretty sure he says aye since he wrote read the
Recording in progress.
proclamation. So with that, then, Lynn Kimmel from the Executive Director of Aging and Long-Term Care, would you like to come up and say something? And then we will take a picture with you.
Great. Well, thank you so much for having us here today. So I am actually going to defer to Cy Parker, who's your representative to the Planning and Management Council.
Hi.
Good afternoon. I'm Cy Parker, 4020 East 24th Avenue. I have been on the Planning and Management Council of Aging and Long-Term Care of Eastern Washington for almost 9 years now. I am the county representative this year and the next 2 years. we work with the aging population in Spokane to keep people in their homes. This is probably one of the most important things that can happen in any community. People need to be in their homes rather than in institutions of some kind. And that is the job of aging and long-term care of Washington. And we do the job in the best possible way any of you can imagine. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you for participating and being on the commission. So with that, Jim, would you come up with us and take your picture? Okay, with that, since we are delaying again 3C until next week, I will look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, move to approve items 4 and 5, including all sub-items on today's agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to approve items 4 and 5 and all sub-items as presented on today's agenda. Any further discussion? Commissioner Jordan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to make a brief comment on the Homeward Bound funding. I'm happy to join my colleagues in supporting funding for this program today. I just wanted to add a few thoughts to the record that in considering this issue, I've been paying close attention to the advice of some of our most trusted homeless service providers in our region, like Volunteers of America, which, as we all know, does so much with their programs to help make a difference on the issue of homelessness in our community. And VOA has told the board that this program does have a place within a broader portfolio of strategies to reduce homelessness and meet the needs of our unhoused population. I do want to acknowledge that one thing I've consistently heard from our homeless service providers is that the vast majority of the unhoused folks in our region are from our region. And so this step today is certainly not a panacea. I do think it's an important step, and it can make a difference for some folks who are in really difficult circumstances. As the board knows, these funds serve a fraction of our overall homeless population. But what I've heard from providers is that there are some folks on the streets who have a stronger, more stable support system elsewhere. And so in those cases, at times, connecting them with that stable network can be a humane and effective step for sure. It's my understanding there is a broad spectrum of providers working with Volunteers of America to refer folks to this program and that it's being well utilized. So that's great. The providers seem to be working well together to cooperate in connecting clients who can benefit from this assistance. I did also just want to note that at the county, of course, we use state, federal, and local dollars to make significant investments in affordable housing, homeless reduction strategies, and today's action should be looked at, I believe, in the context of a much larger strategy of investments that we make. I think on this issue, this board has been highly engaged over the last year in regional conversations around this issue, so I thank my colleagues for that. We all know we've got a lot of work to do. So I say let's keep working on comprehensive solutions Let's keep working for new investments to grow affordable housing supply, continuing to make drug and mental health treatment accessible, improve the effectiveness of our homelessness response system, and better coordinate these strategies with our regional partners and neighboring jurisdictions. I'm optimistic that we'll continue to make progress on all those fronts. And so with that in mind, I'm pleased to support this item. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing no further discussion. Seeing no further discussion, we have a motion and a second for items 4, 5, and all sub-items on today's agenda. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That will take us to our last item, which is item 6A, which is a public hearing in the matter of leasing certain county property to the Spokane County Extension Center located at 222 North Havana, City of Spokane Valley, 99202. I'm not sure who's presenting. Okay, thank you.
Commissioners, this is a request by the 4-H group to lease property within the WSU Cooperatives Extension facility at the address that was located. It's the equivalent of an office, size of an office out there. The county has at many times in the past leased some of the space out there to various organizations that are really well connected to the WSU Extension and the activities that they provide. This has been negotiated with the Department of Enterprise Services on behalf of the 4-H group, and as in accordance with the requirements, we have to do a public hearing before we lease it to them.
Okay.
And I'll also say that it's at a market rate that's very consistent with that type of space and other space out there.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Scott? Okay, seeing no questions for Scott, then I will open this up to a public hearing. So first call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 6A. Second call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 6A. Seeing no one. Third and final call for anyone wishing to testify on item number 6A. I will then close the public testimony and look to my fellow commissioners.
Madam Chair, I move to approve public hearing item number 6A as presented by staff.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second for item number 6A. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion passes unanimously. That will then take us to the end of our agenda. So Mr. Simmons or Mr. Anderson, is there anything that you have?
Nothing further from me, Chair.
Nothing from me, Madam Chair.
Very good. Then at this point, we will adjourn. We will sign some documents. And Chris, we'll just make sure that we can use your stamp.
Yes, you can. Thank you.
Thank you. And we will see everybody back next week. Thank you very much.